Welcome to This Sacred Life and the Divine Feminine Spotlight. I'm Transformation Goddess, best-selling author, and award-winning producer Shann Vander Leek. Listen in for wisdom teachings and transparent conversations with soulful women about walking in beauty, reclaiming your feminine sovereignty, and celebrating the mystery and wonder of your sacred life. Welcome back to This Sacred Life. I'm your host, Shann Vander Leek, and I'm so glad that you're here today for another episode. And I hope that you made time to listen in last month to Melissa Ambrosini talk to us about how she lives her life and has learned to open wide. We talked about her new book and had a delightful conversation. So if you have a chance, be sure to check that out as well. Today, we're going to be talking about circling up and how when we come together in community as women, we can heal ourselves and change the world. And this is something that I've experienced directly, and I'm sure many of you have as well. But it's important that we talk about it and that we keep circling up. So that is what this episode is all about today. Our online communities and technological umbilical cords certainly have contributed to the growth of an enormous virtual global community for many women. I enjoy facilitating a couple of groups online and really connecting with women from all over the world that I might not have the chance to meet face to face. However, what I think we all need more of is that in-person, face-to-face gathering of women sharing our struggles and smiles and hugs and sacred ceremonies and nourishment, all of the things that feed our souls. It's important. So if you aren't circling up already, if you don't have a community of women that you sit with on a regular basis, they're out there. All you have to do is some research to find them. And certainly you can use your social media connections in your local area to find out what's going on as well. Just takes a little bit of inquiry. One of the reasons why I started circling up many years ago is I started to feel disconnected, a bit burned out. I was spending so much time building my business, raising my daughter with my husband, nurturing my marriage, but I didn't have a connection with a sisterhood. I had a couple of close friends that I absolutely adore, and I've always really been more of a one-to-one or small group kind of a person. So entering a circle for the first time was a little bit daunting, but one of the best experiences and one of the best choices I've ever made. We have so many responsibilities and so many roles that we play. And all of these things can often overshadow who we really are, a true voice. Man, when you choose to carve out time to join other women in a sacred circle or in a sweat lodge or a drum circle, this is a sacred gift that gives you an opportunity to take yourself to a place where you can shed the masks that you wear and the roles that you play and just be who you really are. Just show up where you're at. I circle up to actively listen and also to be heard without judgment. I circle up to prepare and share a nourishing meal or to offer a shoulder or ask for support. It's pretty amazing when you realize that there are women in your community and women all over the world who are willing to hold space for you, to be there for you, to let you be where you're at in this moment in time, to offer whatever it is that you might need in a group setting, and that's it, and then let it go. One of the reasons why I mentioned that it was daunting for me at first is because I had been so private for so long, very protected. and lots of armor, and felt like, oh my goodness, how can I share my heart and soul and shadow and all of these parts of myself in a group of people? What will that be like? Will I be judged? Will I be anxious? How will that feel? What will that look like? And thankfully, the group that I began with had one hell of a facilitator, an incredible teacher that was and still is a queen of mastering holding space and honoring each person within a circle and giving them all of what they need to share without that discomfort. Such a great experience. So if you're not circling up, I highly recommend. I could talk about this. This could be a very long podcast. When you choose to join a sacred sisterhood, or when you choose to sit in a circle, you're going to learn about the joys and struggles of women in your community. You're going to see a reflection of yourself in many of these women. You also might be triggered by some of the women that you sit with. This allows you to practice being patient with yourself, being patient with the personalities who might trigger you, also reveling in the pure joy of finding other women that you have something in common with. It's also a place where you can practice being fully present. One of the most important things about coming together in community with other women is that you remember that you're not alone. And you remember that you're human. And you learn to be sweet with yourself and supportive of others, perhaps less judgmental of yourself and others. A few years back, when I needed an energetic cord cutting to release decades-old wounds and stories with my father, I had the opportunity to circle up with my teacher and 8 more incredible souls who held space for me as I shared my truth and then let it go. It just happened to be the perfect timing for a sweat lodge and a gathering. So this gathering wasn't all about me, but I was allowed to do this cord cutting with other women. I was able to support them in what they were releasing, as well as feel completely held and nurtured by all of them. And this particular circle was a precious gift from the divine, without question, because I think it was less than 2 months after the gathering and after the cord cutting, my father passed away. And I realize now that being witnessed in circle with all of these sisters and initiating this cord cutting ceremony prepared me to say goodbye. I couldn't have done it without this incredible community of women. I'm blessed to be immersed in the sacred work that allows me to celebrate my sisters, to ask for support, to cut energetic cords and release old stories. Every time I gather with women, I'm grateful to experience a deep dive into the wisdom and power and magic of the divine feminine through our sacred work. I believe that when women come together in circle, we can heal ourselves and change the world. And I invite you to circle up. I invite you to let yourself be held by a circle of women. Carve out some time to figure out what's available to you. And if you can't do something face to face, that's okay. Do something online. Get yourself into a place, into a community that feels good, that feels supportive, that's nurturing. You're welcome to join my private Facebook group. All you have to do is look for Transformation Goddess on Facebook or search for Goddess Talk Sessions, and you're welcome to join in. Thanks so much for listening in today. I hope that I've inspired you to circle up. I hope that you will take some time to find out what's available for you in your community. What I'd like to leave you with today is a knowing that you're not alone, and that when you step forward and join a community of women, you are going to be supported. You are going to meet women who are on a similar path. You're going to meet women who might be further along the path and that have experience that can help you move through whatever you might be transitioning through. And then certainly you're also going to have the opportunity to support others who might be just a bit behind where you're at, but in a similar circumstance. It's just incredible what happens when we open our hearts and share our stories and support each other without judgment. You deserve to circle up. Until next time, thank you so much for listening to This Sacred Life. Big love. Thanks for listening to This Sacred Life. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to leave some stars and a favorable review at iTunes. And be sure to visit transformationgoddess.com to claim your free album of guided relaxations for women who do too much.